1050.
Get the lighters in the air. The candles are lit here in the TSN 1050 studios as we welcome you into OverDrive. It's Tuesday afternoon. Aaron Carroll and Keegan Matheson and Frank Corrado. I asked Doogie not to play that song.
Had to be done.
I suppose it
had
did.
to be done.
Today is indeed my 15-year anniversary stepping foot inside of this building. Well, it was a different building down at 299 Queen Street. And listen, the messages have been pouring in. I know the press release is going out from Bell's CEO Mirko Bibic soon. The statue is being erected in front. I think it's right next to Michael Landsberg,
right.
Duthie, all the other heavy hitters.
Rod Smith, you name it.
It's a momentous day here at TSN. It's a pleasure to spend it with you guys.
Wow, man. What an honor that we get to spend your 15th anniversary with you today. Like, think about all the people that have come and gone through this place. You've seen it all, man. A lot of turnover. But there you are. The show goes on today on OverDrive.
Well, and the irony is, on my first day as an intern here at TSN 15 years ago, I was an intern on The Brian Hayes Show.
Wow.
And the producer of that show is our now boss, Stephanie Appolito.
Oh, no way.
Everybody was there. Now, Brian's obviously not here today. I just saw Steph.
You were Hazy B's intern?
I was Hazy B's intern.
So what, did you have to, book, guests and stuff?
No,
well,
that
did you
that
have
was,
to fetch him coffee?
Well, you know what? Let me tell you about my first
God.
ever interaction with Brian Hayes 15 years ago today. I show up. I'm actually waiting in the lobby for 30 minutes. No one came to get me. So I'm like, all right, well, this is off to a great start. Eventually, someone comes to get me. I go in there. Steph, who, again, now is our now boss. She was the producer of the Brian Hayes Show at the time. And she's like, hey, you mind cutting these clips? I'm like, I literally have been in here for 90 seconds. I have no idea how to do anything. She's like, oh, okay, come meet Brian. Meet Brian, walk in. Brian's staring at the computer, looks up. He's like, hey, you mind grabbing me some Starbucks? Doesn't even say hi. Hands me his credit card. Still remember his order all these years later because I had to get it many times. And who knows? Who knew? 15 years later, I'd be filling in for him on OverDrive.
We all love Hazy B, but there's no way 15 years ago he had the kind of clout to tell an intern
he would
to
have
drive
been like
to Starbucks.
No, well,
he was just kind of
downtown. We were downtown. It was like right down the street.
Oh, so okay, you were down there. You could go for a little walk.
So Brian's like 6, 7 years older than me, so not that dramatic of an age difference. And I was just getting clowned around.
He put you in your place.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, listen, I didn't think I had any pull at that time, and I certainly feel the exact same way today. So, yeah, it's been a wild ride, but we're going to have a blast today for the next couple hours,
dude,
boys.
And now you do 4 hours every morning, Monday to Friday with our boy Coco.
It's true. What a winding road.
Hey?
What a winding road.
You remember the first show you hosted? Who the guest
I do,
was?
yes. Well, not the guest, but I do remember it was on New Year's Eve. It was Carlo and I, and for whatever reason, I made him wear a Philadelphia Eagles jersey. I can't remember. It was probably some bet, but yeah, that was probably 6, 7, 8 years ago now at this point. And
I feel like you guys used to do way more dumb stuff in the morning, like morning show fodder.
Well,
used
like
to be
start shows with 15 by Taylor Swift.
I mean, I guess that's it's kind of silly, but it's cool.
Well, see, when I suggested that we open with 15 by Taylor Swift and did a beautiful falsetto rendition.
Dude, I gotta say, you're a fantastic singer.
The range is incredible.
Yeah.
Now, AK here immediately scoffs at the idea. And then when I flippantly throw out the album I think it is from, he says, no, wasn't that before 2010? I think that's from Fearless, actually.
I am a big Taylor Swift
This guy tried to be a little too cool for it.
I am a big Taylor Swift fan, but you were telling us about your Eras tour story. It sounds like you had a great time.
Neither of you went to the Eras.
I did not go to the
I was
Eras
not
tour.
available to go to the Eras.
I didn't have $4,000.
I'll tell you, I made myself available.
Yeah,
it was great. I mean, I stuck out like an ogre in the crowd, but it was fantastic. My girlfriend wanted to go. I said, hell yeah, I will go to this spectacle. And let me tell you, the beer line's quite short. The men's washroom line, non-existent. It was like having a private concert experience. And I had to kind of keep the beer cans shuttled under my seat and the girlfriend's seat, lest I disturb the lovely mother and her young daughters to my left.
Right.
Because we had quite nice seats down the lower bowl.
Oh.
But, so I was trying to be a family-friendly version of myself that was having several beers at a concert. And it was great. I picked up a lot of bracelets. I was
You
getting
still
soft
have
ice.
those?
I do. I have
Did
a
you
know what?
dress up? Did
Yeah.
you have to do the whole dress up thing?
I
for the
only have
concert?
one look.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just what I look like all the time. I have
can't
no other look.
diversify it
This is
that
what I
much.
look like at work when I'm going to get a coffee. No, there's no range.
Well, it's a great day, fellas. It's a great day for
15.
sports radio. And,
Congrats,
and
buddy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. No need to applaud. Hopefully 15 years more. Who knows? Today, the 30-year anniversary at TSN.
I
That
gotta
seems
think-
unlikely.
I think it's likely. I think you could do it.
We got to get FanDuel to put up a line on the likelihood that I make it to 30 years or 20 years or 16. You know, I think it's probably plus money on all those accounts. But a huge day and a huge night in the city of Toronto. Caitlin Clark is in town. And I had no idea Keegan Matheson is a WNBA savant. This
Yeah.
guy was breaking down the rosters of the Fever, of the Mystics, certainly of the Toronto Tempo. I mean, it must be a pretty momentous occasion for you. And, of course, the game can be seen on TSN tonight.
I'm looking forward to this one. I mean, I looked at tickets back when they went on sale, but even I do not have enough pull to get into the Caitlin Clark game, guys. But I've been looking forward to this one, man. And the W is my summer sport I get to enjoy because baseball is work, which I still enjoy. But, you know, you got to have something that's not work. And the W is what I get to watch in the summers and maybe what I get to put, 10 cents on after a game and catch a West Coaster, man. But I've been looking forward to the Caitlin Clark day, and it seems to be putting a big spotlight back on the Tempo. Like, I caught my first Tempo game a few weeks back, fellas, and it was the most fun I've had at an event in the longest time, man. Because normally when I go to a stadium, again, it's work.
Yes.
Right? Even when I go to Taylor Swift or Beyonce or whatever I'm seeing at the Dome, I'm looking up at the press box, and I'm kind of sweating, Like, it's like if you guys came to a concert here. It just doesn't make sense.
Doesn't sound great.
So getting to go to the new stadium or their new setup there at the stadium and catch a game, man, wicked time.
Buddy, I used to do the same thing. If we ever went to a concert at like Air Canada Center back in the day, like me and my girlfriend, who's now my wife, we'd be wherever. I'd look up at that press box and say, that's where I am, usually right up there.
Spend a lot of time in that popcorn.
And, yeah, you get the same sweat that you would get on, buddy. So I know the feeling all too well. Did you guys happen to catch Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham trying the Canadian snacks?
I did. Coffee Crisp.
Was not
Ketchup chips.
Yeah,
I
other
believe they
than
were
ketchup
having.
chips, what was on it?
Coffee Crisp was on there. There was some other cookie, some maple cookie that I wasn't overly familiar with. But here's my take on ketchup chips. I wouldn't eat a ketchup chip if it was the last chip on Earth.
Oh, wow.
Wouldn't touch it if it was the last chip on Earth.
Fair.
Couldn't care less.
Why
for
are
it.
you so averse
Just
to
don't
ketchup
like
chips?
it. Just don't like it. Just something.
I'm not a
about
lover,
it.
and I do
don't like
think,
it.
I'm trashy. I think ketchup's a food group. I'll put it on anything.
I love ketchup.
Well, if you had to reach for a bag, then what is the mountaintop of Frankie Corrado chips?
It starts with salt and vinegar.
Yeah.
And then it goes to like a sour cream and onion and like an all dressed.
So would you go
Expected.
regular over ketchup?
Dude, I would go anything over ketchup. Literally last overall pick, and I would say I'm not playing if I have to draft it.
That's
Just
interesting.
take my ball and go home.
I don't know. I
Tough.
like ketchup.
Tough.
Chips. Again, I don't really discriminate in chips. I like pretty much everything except the regular chips that have no flavor. Like I'm looking for some flavors, some joie de
But they
vivre
weren't
of my
like,
chips.
I feel like so many times Americans will try ketchup chips and put on this act
Yes,
that like
you're
this
actually-
is
you're
the
absolutely
best
right.
thing ever. How do we not have this? They didn't really do. They were just like, yeah,
But that's
it's
how
okay,
anything
it's
is.
all
Like
right.
when it's not available in your country, like you go to Trader Joe's, like oh my god, Trader Joe's is the greatest place on earth. Look at all the incredible products they have, and then you move to the States or you're there a couple times. You can see it up here on TSN 4. Who's that? That's not. Well, Caitlin Clark's on the left there. You can't
Yeah.
really see her. I don't know who's in the middle.
Don't get me started on
But,
Trader Joe's.
yes.
I mean, my goodness. My girlfriend's coming to this upcoming New York trip to play the Yankees.
Ooh,
She's not playing the Yankees, the Blue Jays.
I thought
But
so.
already.
It's
we got to
Trader
leave some
Joe's.
room in the suitcase. I mean, it's just peanut butter. They don't make
right.
it any different.
You're right.
The
You're
label
absolutely
is
right.
a little bit
But
different.
I'm pretty sure I one time saw after Free Agent Frenzy, I saw the O-Dog go out to Marty Biron's truck when we were all wrapped up, and there was like 2 brown bags with like Trader Joe's on the side, and there were like they were filled to the brim, and I don't know what was in there, but I would love to get the answer of like
Take it
what Marty
seriously.
brought up for this guy.
Like, I don't know Trader Joe's. I don't think had any products from Trader Joe's. The one thing I do know, if they had some of those in Canada, in the Toronto area, it would be very successful. Because everybody I know who goes to the States always raves about how incredible that place
People would
is.
line
so
up for it.
Yeah, but
I would think so.
You need
Yeah,
the
but
tote bags.
I think so.
I feel like we say that about so many things that are American, like Target. Target
Yeah.
came up to Canada and people were like, "Oh, it's Target. It's like it's in the States." And then it was gone, and no one went to Target. There's got to be a few. Sam's Club was another one. Sam's Club came up, and then it was gone. There's way more of these that I just can't think of right now.
No, you're right. You're right. And the sub shops, like we don't need to go name by name, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of places that come to Canada, and again, we stick to the old
We
familiars.
stick to
a
what
lot
we
of-
know, man.
A lot of the time. So again, Caitlin Clark and the Fever playing the Tempo tonight at Scotiabank Arena. Again, it's on TSN, and of course the Toronto Blue Jays back in action after a day off. 36 games to go for the Toronto Blue Jays. 3 starting tonight against the Tampa Bay Rays. Then they've got 3 in the Bronx, as you mentioned, Keegan, against the Yankees. And then their schedule becomes kind of laughable. Every team they'll play is under 500. But you got to do something against the Rays and the Yanks here in the next 6. You can't just get obliterated by them, go like 1-5, and all of a sudden you're 2.5, 3 out of a playoff spot. Right now they're a half game out. It's a crazy glut, but Jose Soriano's on the mound tonight. You've got Cease coming up this weekend against the Yankees. Scherzer, Bieber will pitch. Got to take advantage, man, because these games are extremely important for the Toronto Blue Jays if they want to keep pace.
Big one, man. They're facing Nick Martinez, who has a 2.74 ERA, then Drew Rasmussen, who has a 2.78. Like, the Rays are so damn good and they're so damn annoying, which is high praise. Like, they play a suffocating brand of baseball. Like, if they were a football team, they would be like the Houston Texans, incredible defense, and they beat you 9-7 type of thing. I don't know who's C.J. Stroud in this tangled example that kind of sucks, but, you know, they got one. And the Rays are really built to frustrate the Blue Jays specifically because they play an elite version of the game the Blue Jays are kind of trying to play right now. And momentum matters, fellas. Like, I think the Blue Jays have casual fans curious right now. You know, are you going to have 1 million people watching these games down the stretch or 5 million again? And I think a lot of people are kind of like peeking through the window at this team again. Like, oh, are they gonna do this again? And if you drop 5 out of 6, they'll say, I'll just go wait for hockey to come back, right? Pretty easily. But they've got the curiosity, man. It's there.
It's it could be a 2-week something that's a little bit special for the Jays, or it could be a 2-month something. And the thing that's really going to bridge the gap between that is this series with Tampa. And they just had to play Boston and the Yankees, and they did really well. What they go 5 and 2. 5 of 7, they win. But now they go down to Tampa, which they've been horrible there for years. It's like a sub 400 winning percentage down in Tampa, like Keegan mentioned. Like, it's not a great matchup for them. But I guess in one aspect, like, it's unlikely, or it was unlikely, they were going to do that well against those two teams in those two series coming off the trade deadline. But they did it. Now, can they do something that's unlikely again and go down to Tampa and have a winning series and keep themselves in the mix? Who knows? Like, it's been such a strange year, and they're not really winning games their trademark way. Like, they really have to kind of keep it close, and they don't really have a ton of offense. It's really strange watching them right now, but that's the reality of where they're at.
Let me ask you this question, Keegan. What would have to happen here in the final 36 regular season games, and even heading into the playoffs, should they make it, for this season to be considered a success? And, of course, the definition has, of course, changed over the course of this season.
Yes.
If I told you, they sneak into the third wild card at the beginning of the year, you would say that is a dramatic failure. But now, the way that they played and the injuries and the struggles from so many of their key players, how would you answer that question, the definition of success for this baseball team in 2026?
Couple thoughts. And number one is that I don't love moving goalposts too much.
Okay.
I think you need to a little bit. But I'm already, like, I like to get angry about things before they even happen. I think it's very healthy. It keeps my blood pressure down. I can already see the narrative coming of everyone doubted them. No. Nobody doubted them, okay? This is a massive disappointment. And if they come back to sneak into the playoffs, that's still well below what expectations were. Like, let's not frame them as a $100 million payroll that scrapped their way into this.
Yeah.
It's not what this is, okay? And I know how sports works. I know, everyone doubted me, said LeBron James. I get how this works, but that's not the case here. I think that you still need to also set the bar a little lower than World Series. If you say championship or bust as a sports fan, you are on average going to be miserable 29 out of every 30 years. Maybe you have 3 good years in your life. You can't live that way, right? I think if they are to get into the postseason and win a round, advance to the ALDS and give it a good series there, when you are into that final group in the American League, and maybe you're running up against the Yankees or someone like that, you've got to get through and win a wild card. You can't flop in the wild card round again because these windows do not last forever. But I think it's a little too much to say you got to win the World Series. Let's be realistic.
Right. I mean, you're down there every day. You talk to the guys. You talk to John Schneider. Maybe one thing that I feel like is getting overlooked a little bit is there was a point in time this season where it was really starting to go south and everything bad was happening for this team. And didn't it feel like John Schneider was like remarkably calm through it all? Like he didn't really go nuts. He didn't throw guys under the bus. Like he didn't panic. He didn't overreact. I think at the time you could have looked at that and said, like, what's up with that? Like, why is he doing that? And I don't know. I guess maybe I look at it and say, well, he knew that it was just off. Like it was just weird. And it was just one of those things that sometimes you say, that's sports. Like sometimes it's hard to explain. And now they're doing this thing where they're winning games in an unlikely way against unlikely opponents based on their record. And it's like, it kind of looks good on John Schneider.
Yes.
It looks good on him that he didn't freak out and start panic at that point because you're in the mix now. Like, if you threw it away back then, you might not be in the mix today, and we would not be talking about this series with the same kind of importance.
When you're the guy at the top, you got to hold the line sometimes. Like I'm sure you have had coaches, Frank, you go in front of the media and say, Corrado played just fine tonight. And then he steps into the locker room after the game and he says, damn it, Corrado.
No, he knows.
The message
for sure
does not have to be the same to me as it is in the clubhouse. And that matters. You know, like a lot of people want the guy on TV to affirm what they think as a fan. They want John Schneider to sit on the podium in the middle of the season and say, you know what, Keegs, you're right. Vladdy sucks. And he's got to do something about it. That won't go over well. It will make people on Twitter happier, but it won't get you anywhere. The guy at the top, their job is to hold the line and be steady. Because if John Schneider snaps, that's kind of permission for everyone else to get loose with it too. And it's different in baseball, I think, because you play every day. It's such a grind of a season. And it's not a contact sport, so you can't fight a guy. You can't hit a guy. The discipline you need in baseball is just to hold the line and not break down. I think John Schneider did a good job of that publicly. He can go back into his office and whip a baseball through the drywall.
Oh, and I'm sure he did.
Oh, must have done that countless times.
Yeah, he gets up to the TSN red in the face, and he does that in private, right? But holding the line publicly, I think, has been important, and that's allowed them to kind of stay steady until this recent run.
We also live in like this era now with modern athletes where you kind of, whether people like it or not, you have to build guys up a little bit. Like there's just a little bit of ego massaging that needs to happen because especially when you know a guy's intentions are good and he just doesn't have it, right? Like there was Kevin Gausman, he just didn't have it for like a significant portion of the season. I know he's traded now, but like, what are you going to do? Like the guy's intentions are good. He wants to pitch well. He wanted to be here. You just have to try and build him up. Like you probably came to that conclusion however many other times on an individual basis in that room. And you're like, what am I going to say to these guys? I got to try and build them up. It's the only way out of it, and now they've crawled their way through it.
For sure, and I'm certain that Schneider and Popkins and Pete Walker sat in Schneider's office over the course of this season and looked at each other and said, Vladdy, where is this guy?
Yeah, they're not thrilled.
No, exactly. It's not like they're high-fiving after every 0 for 4, but I think even the most optimistic Blue Jays fan would have to acknowledge that the month of August, they've gone 10-6 in the month of August. And allow me to rifle through some stats. George Springer is hitting 129 in August. Okamoto's got 0 home runs in August. He's hitting 204. Vlad's not playing anymore. This isn't sustainable. They cannot play this way, be as bad offensively as they have been now for virtually the entire season, and make the playoffs. Now, I say that with the caveat that the American League wildcard race is full of a collection of teams that frankly suck. That is 100% true as well, and the Toronto Blue Jays find themselves in that same mix. For me, they're going to have to continue getting great pitching. The bullpen needs to be dominant, which it has been for a long period of time. And you need Bieber and Scherzer. I think those are the two key players for the Toronto Blue Jays down the stretch. Shane Bieber's pitching for a big contract. There's a lot of pressure on him personally to be like, damn, I better show up down the stretch and give these guys a couple gems because it could mean tens of millions of dollars for me. Max Scherzer, I don't know what his plans are following this season, but he's been pitching pretty damn well for the last, 3, 4, 5 starts. Cease has been so good. Soriano goes again tonight. If they can get quality starts from Bieber and Scherzer down the stretch, I think they can make it because, frankly, I look at the rotations for these other teams and say, They don't have 4 guys, but the Jays theoretically might.
Even when you look at postseason matchups, it's not about the deep rotation. It's about your 1 and 2 and your back end guys. How many teams can compare to Cease and Soriano than Tyler Rogers and Louis Varland?
Yeah.
Like, not many.
You're talking about those guys giving you 6 innings, and then you could take it all the way home.
Well,
with those guys.
it goes back to what we were talking about at the start of the year. Like, the Jays should not be battling with the Tigers and the Twins. Like, that's not the kind of ball club they were. It's not the kind of ball club they are today, but that's the reality of where they find themselves in. The luxury they have is that even though they sold at the deadline, just like the Tigers did, like, they have more quality players. So they should be able to lean on those guys like you're talking about in this kind of situation and be the team that steps up ahead. Will they? I mean, there's still some things working against them, but man, at least we're talking about it at this point, because it could have been curtains a week ago.
It's just been like every single team seemingly in this race just screws it up. I mean, you talk about Texas, like their performance against the Angels over the weekend, a complete embarrassment. And I mean, there's just been so many opportunities for these teams to take advantage of the other opponents they have in this race, and they haven't been doing it except for the Toronto Blue Jays now for the last couple of weeks. And listen, you win what? 22, 23, 24, your final 36 games. You're going to be in the playoffs if you're the Jays.
Win 20, man.
I mean, well, that's it. It's just who wants it the least.
The bar's so low.
It is.
And they just need to reach a new level now.
Got to get
They have been... I never want to take credit all the way away because I'm not out there playing. Part of this has been them playing into this, but they've also been helped along the way by teams they are playing, number one, and teams in this race, number two. This is a very weak race, and we're talking about a team that's still 61 and 65, which is a bad record, especially when you are one of the top payrolls in baseball with World Series expectations. That does not make this good. But they've at least gotten themselves into a launching position right now where you need the offense to do more. That comes down to power. Is that going to come? I don't know. But if you can string 30 singles together and score 8 runs, fantastic. However it works. But they're there, man. And like we talked about yesterday, none of these teams really terrify me. They can get hot. The Orioles, the Mariners, the Tigers, they can get hot. But I still think all of these teams are looking at the Blue Jays and thinking, man, they are due.
And at the very least, we have some compelling baseball to watch into the month of September. For now, because it didn't appear that was going to be the case even, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I didn't know what I was going to be doing.
Yeah, I thought you might have September off.
That's the thing, because if you cover the NFL and your team's out of the game, you got to cover 3 more games.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, my God, am I going to have to cover 60 more games of a team that is toast? I've done that before. It's pretty rough. They don't get more excited to see me.
Yeah.
You know?
I imagine the clicks and the views aren't as robust
Not
under those
quite,
circumstances.
you know? So, not that they're thrilled to see me walk in these days, but it's at least you're talking to them about winning and some meaningful baseball.
You also get some cool stories, right? Like you get some like a McAdoo's an interesting one because that's a guy who keeps hitting. Like Nathan Lucas is another one. Like it provides guys opportunity to say, I got to do something for next year. Regardless of how this goes, I want everyone to know when we leave this season that, I should be considered for a starting job, for a real job next year and do everything you possibly can because you don't know how your opportunity is going to come up in sports. Sometimes it's at the end of the year. Hey, sometimes you have a great camp and there's an opening or there's an injury, but sometimes the way you draw it up is not the way it actually happens. So make the most of your opportunity, and that is absolutely there for a number of guys on this team at this point.
I think Bateman's another example.
That's right.
Involved in the Kevin Gausman trade. He comes over, and he's their leadoff guy against right-handed pitching. And he could very well factor into next season. Now, he's not a guy who's going to rip a bunch of home runs over the wall, but he's looked pretty impressive to me. He's a good defender. He's got some speed, and if he acquits himself well down the stretch, I mean, maybe he could factor into that job next season.
It wasn't motivated players,
Yeah.
Like whether it's a job, making an impression. Money matters too, man. When Shane Bieber takes the mound, he's not thinking about his free agent dollar right now. He's a pro, and I respect that. But at the same time, if you told all of us we had $10 million on the line, I mean, we might have skipped my Eras Tour review and got right to it,
Yeah,
anybody.
Talk about my anniversary, maybe a little bit less.
But anyone listening to this, I think, knows that in your job, if you had those stakes financially, everything is going to be dialed in. And that goes for everyone on this roster. You just want motivated players, and I see a motivated team at the very least.
And I guess there's a difference between the word motivation and pressure.
Yeah.
Right. And I think there is definitely pressure on the Toronto Blue Jays to make the postseason, considering what they've done here for the last couple of weeks. And I try to identify the players who will be facing the most pressure. And I mean, we talked yesterday, Keegan, about Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s 1-year anniversary of hitting a home run at the Rogers Center in the regular season.
Bad for business.
Which defies any and all logic. And I mean, we'll see. Did we get an update on Vlad today, you think, from Schneider with regards to his progress and
Should
if and
be
when we
one.
could hear him?
Seeing tweets that he's at least doing some work on the field,
Okay.
which signals progress. But still a few days left for that IL.
Yeah.
If he can get back. Vladdy back off the IL in New York where he loves to hit. That lines up for a good narrative.
But he just takes something at some point. Like, you need momentum is such a crazy thing because like you go through a stretch where it's gone bad and you can't explain what's going wrong until you feel that you've done something right.
Yeah.
It's in every sport. Like, it just is. And then you're in that zone again. You're in that flow state. He is so far away from that, and the injury doesn't help. But at the same time, maybe that injury is just like you can't be out there. You can't be chopping it up anymore. So you give yourself a little bit of a mental reset. I don't know. It's just
Gotta pray.
he's got to find a way to just get something going. And the team has that momentum right now. Like, they're probably looking at it saying, well, might as well do it now.
Yeah.
We're here. Like, let's not waste our
Lose.
time. Like, let's do this thing, or else what a waste if we don't do it at this point.
Alejandro Kirk's been the guy in the middle of the lineup now
better.
for the last couple of weeks. He's been their best hitter, most productive player, and maybe even Bateman. And if you add Vlad into the equation against Springer, I don't know what you could really expect. His shoulder's busted, and he's a tough dude. We remember him playing through a lot of injuries in the playoffs last year. But, I mean, I don't know. Playing out the string, I don't really know if it's fair to be like, George Springer needs to be better. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we pretty much
Asking a
know
lot.
where this is going. And Okamoto, you'd love to see him. What's he got? 23, 24 home runs on the season. He's been really productive in that respect, but he's gone cold in the month of August.
George is the guy that's got to bang the drum for everyone.
That's
for
it.
all the Nathan Lucases and
Sure.
all these guys of the world, he's got to bang the drum and be the one that really rallies everyone. Like, there's a place for a guy like that,
Yeah.
especially at that age who's been through everything that he's been through.
So we had the opportunity to catch up with Corey Dickerson, first base coach of the Tampa Bay Rays, before today's program. Some call it a revolutionary interview. Some Marconi Award-winning
Many.
interview.
Doogie
Many.
was all over it, too. He
Doogie was
booked it and
extremely
everything.
complimentary of the interview. So we're going to let you watch and hear that on the other side. Easton Cowan's on the show today as well.
That's a big one, Doogie.
We're
Attaboy.
looking forward to catching up with the Cowboy. He's about, a month away from beginning his training camp with the Toronto Maple Leafs after winning a Calder Cup. So a lot of good stuff coming your way here on Overdrive. I'm Aaron Korolnik. That's Keegan Matheson. That's Frank Corrado. We'll be back with Corey Dickerson next.
2026 CPKC Women's Open on TSN.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
OverDrive continues. You're watching on TSN4, TSN's YouTube channel, listening on TSN 1050, and you can watch us later tonight on Crave. Lots of good stuff on
Love Crave.
always.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best.
You could go Sopranos, episode of Sopranos, into OverDrive right after.
Yeah, that is
Like, how good is that?
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
know?
It's a great idea.
Watch Tony eat some gabagool right out of the fridge.
Oh,
and
now
then
we're
fire up
talking.
us three.
Now we're talking. I think that is right up my alley. Perhaps
Bring
later
that
tonight.
energy. I might drop a button here and let some chains out.
Dude,
I think that's
if
a
you
great
go
idea.
white robe
Some deli
into the fridge, gabagool, what would your girlfriend say? Would she think you're having like a stroke or something?
She would call it Tuesday.
Yeah,
I'll tell you in 3 hours.
exactly.
Grabbing a beer, watching the Blue Jays game. I'll tell you.
That is gearing down after doing national TV like we've done the last couple of days. And you get home, turn the TV on.
Boom.
That's what Tony Soprano felt like when he got home, and Carm had a nice meal ready for him, some pasta,
that's right,
or some gabagool. But earlier this afternoon, we had the opportunity to catch up with Corey Dickerson, who's the first base coach for the Tampa Bay Rays, played with the Jays as well in 2021. And our conversation began with me asking him, okay, the Tampa Bay Rays are 26 games over 500. Meanwhile, the Jays are 4 games under 500. How surprised are you at the way the season has gone to this point?
Man, I think anytime you're on a big league team, you hope to, do great things, make the playoffs and stuff like that. But to look ahead and to say, would we take that? Would you think we would be there? It's hard to ever say like no. Hard to say that we wouldn't take that. Hard to say that. You never forget how hard this game is, and it's crazy. It's a crazy game, and we've just been blessed and been able to play good team baseball, and thankfully we did it for a long enough time so far, and just got to keep going.
Corey, when you think back to your time in Toronto, late 2021, you guys had that incredible lineup that year. You were part of a race down the stretch in August, September. What do you remember about the group you were part of there, that lineup, and what it felt like in this city?
Yeah, I think it's the camaraderie. I think such a great group of guys, and I felt like I blended well. I got along with everyone there. Simeon and down to Springer and Bo, but also the training staff, the coaches, the cooks. I think it transcends down the whole group. Everybody got along so well. It was just a unique group, and we had a lot of fun each and every day that we showed up.
You got to see Vladdy up close and personal, and it's been a tough year for Vladdy here. And there's a lot of talk about, him being a timing hitter. And, from your experience, if your timing is off or you've seen a player go through that, how hard is it for a player to get it back when really their whole rhythm gets impacted that way?
Yeah, it's hard because whenever time is not on your side and, you keep trying to change things and time keeps going, you only have a limited amount of time to try to make up for it. And I think, just getting a single or even a double at this point isn't good enough, So it's like almost any change you make is never good enough unless it produces, a homer or, multiple hits for multiple days to stick with it. And that's such a hard place to be mentally. It's very tough on a player. Because he has such high expectations of himself. And it could be something so little that just isn't seen by the people around him.
Corey Dickerson is our guest. He's the Tampa Bay Rays first base coach here on OverDrive. We've been talking a lot about the American League and how average it's been this year. The Toronto Blue Jays are 4 games under 500, are still very much in the mix for a playoff spot. But Tampa, you guys have just been incredible all year long. You're getting production from You're pitching, you're hitting very consistently. I mean, what has it been like to see that up close and personal?
Yeah, I think we just play a different style of baseball. We don't rely on the homer like the normal league does. We have a lot of guys that know how to bunt, know how to steal bases, know how to play defense. Anybody that we replace defensively is just as good or better defensively. That's one thing that I've never played on a team. That usually you got a bat, you're trying to hide a liability, or and we don't really have that. We don't really throw somebody out there that don't have an arm or can't cover ground. Every defender is going to be a positive defender. And that's, I think, very unique. So if you pitch and you play good defense, you find ways to score.
Corey, when you look at the division here, you have the Yankees having a good season, the Red Sox off of their great run, and the Blue Jays, Orioles in that wild card race. You bounced back between the NL and AL a few times in your career, and we always talk about the AL East as one of these grinds of a division. It's so hard to play in. Do you actually feel that as a player, and how does it compare to playing in other divisions with a few powerhouses at least each year?
Yeah, for sure. You're just going to run up to, more, I feel like, payrolls and different things like that. But the AL East have always been one of the top. NL West was always good also, but you would always have, like, Padres wasn't as good back in the day, and then Colorado would always fall behind, and Arizona kind of the same. So you had the juggernaut of, like, San Francisco and L.A. And then when I came to Tampa, just every single night that you play AL East team, you don't need the Red Bull. You don't need the, energy drink. You got a lot of talent that you got to play, a lot of pitchers that are big name pitchers, and it speaks volumes to itself that every AL East team has a chance to make playoffs, which is wild to me.
Well, best of luck down the stretch. It's been a hell of a run for Tampa to this point. It's not hard to see you guys going very deep in the playoffs in the American League, and who knows, maybe back to the World Series. I really appreciate you doing this for us today.
Anytime. Appreciate you guys.
That's new friend of the show, Corey Dickerson of the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, Tampa, we could all agree, are the best team in the American League, but they're not some unbeatable force, right? Like, they've got good pitchers, maybe not superstar arms. They've got some good hitters. Their bullpen, I don't know. But they've been so damn good this year that it's hard to really fathom anybody. I mean, I guess you're talking about potential 7-game series beating the Rays, but I don't know. I'm very curious to see how this Rays-Jays series is going to go. Clearly a huge one for Toronto. Not so huge for Tampa. They've got a pretty good cushion, but should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it.
Just another series for the Rays, man. But in the AL, nobody matches them. Like the Yankees are good, and when they get Aaron Judge back, they'll be great, but they're not on Tampa's level. Like, when I look at the NL, I would take Milwaukee. I would take the Dodgers, obviously. I'd probably even take Atlanta at this point. Like, in the postseason, I want more offense, which is the problem when we're talking about the Blue Jays, because you are going to be facing Shohei Ohtani or Chris Sale every single night, right? You're not going to be getting some team's bullpen game usually. So I would lean more towards the big offensive teams, but the Rays can 2-1 themselves all the way to the World Series.
Isn't there something to be said for a team that can just like manufacture something when it's not there? Like, if you're really a team that lives and dies by the home run ball and you run into a couple stud pitchers and it's not available to you anymore. Like, these guys can bunt, they can steal, they can do some things that are maybe, I'm thinking back to like 10 years ago, Kansas City, that kind of team, right? Where they could make stuff happen when it wasn't really happening.
That's the Yankees playbook, right? Just home runs. Like, that's when they get healthy, Judge, Bellinger, Stanton, Rice, I mean, that's how they're going to win. Chisholm, you got to slug. And if you run into the Yankees getting hot at the right time, they could win the World Series. I just think it's very unlikely that they will.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it's a myth that the best team wins the World Series. It's the team that gets hottest at the right time out of the good ones. But Tampa is last in the league in strikeouts. They never strike out. And they're third in the league in stolen bases. And like John Schneider was asked about this the other day. The Blue Jays hit a ton of singles. The Rays also hit a ton of singles. And his answer was just like, well, they're fast. And he's right. Like, the Rays are a very fast team. And I find that a much more exciting brand of baseball than watching like Alejandro Kirk hit singles. I would rather watch Chandler Simpson hit a single, just in terms of pure entertainment value. And the Jays are kind of missing that a little bit, that blinding speed on the bases. You get there with Brett Bateman. Charles McAdoo's a lot faster than people give him credit for. Like, he's a really good athlete. I think people hear, like, corner infielder.
You can repeat over and over again. And
identity.
Right? That's exactly it. And for the Yankees, I think for a lot of, I guess, the past few years, it was like, if Judge is mashing the ball, they will win games. And then it became like, well, Judge isn't mashing the ball. Like, how are they winning games? But I guess they're doing it now. So they've come around. Like, that would scare me a little bit about the Yankees, that they can win games without some of these guys really mashing.
The rotation, questionable. I mean, Fried goes back on the IL today. They activate Rodon and Cole and Schlittler. But beyond that, a lot of question marks for the Yankees. So, again, Tampa's in a very good spot. They're going to finish first in the American League. But, again, no one's infallible in September and October, not even the Tampa Bay Rays in this very questionable
World Series run, man. Like it's
10,000 people showing up in the World Series.
What the Trop would be all decorated.
I love the Trop.
All jazzed up. You'd have to go down for that, regardless of who's playing.
I would need to. I don't care if I'm working or not. Like, just to see the Trop in all of her majesty. With the
you see her all dolled up down there.
You take the top off the Trop. Normally they have the upper deck kind of tarped over.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to use them. I love the Trop, man. It's my favorite place to work. It's like going to a local hockey rink. You just pull up and park right next to it, and you walk in. The staff there is elite. It's like going to a spring training game where everyone working there is like 86.
Yeah.
But they're delightful.
They love to see you coming around the corner, eh?
Oh, love it. They've always got a chit-chat anecdote, but the Rays, man, how about the Rays-Dodgers World Series? Give me the biggest market discrepancies possible.
Absolutely.
The Rays would become America's team. Like, they really would.
100%.
Everyone would love the Rays, man.
Yeah.
I'd be into that.
You know what's crazy right now is that, like, attendance apparently is surging down in Tampa Bay. And do you know what the number was? It was like 18,000 and change. And people are like, yeah, attendance is up at the Trop. Like, 18,000? What was it at? Like, that it's surging at 18,000,
again, there will be more
man.
people at the Tempo game tonight at Scotiabank Arena than there will be in this massive stadium in Trop.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's a sold-out game to see Caitlin Clark and the Fever on TSN against the Tempo. And meanwhile, this Rays team that's 26 games over 500 can barely get anybody to show up.
Imagine you just get like all the biggest celebrities and stars, like it's Wimbledon, like just at the Trop.
Yeah,
like,
Tom Brady's down there.
Here comes Brady at the Trop.
Yeah.
Here's LeBron at the Trop. Here's David Beckham. Like all these people just hanging out with Keegan, basically.
In this beautiful dome. Like we're spoiled in Toronto. Because there's 42K every night,
which is insane. Normal. The team's been so bad all year,
my mind.
And every single seat is filled every single night. I think it will be down the stretch.
And then I go to other stadiums and you see 12K on a Tuesday.
White Sox, no one's there.
What's going on? You take it for granted. They'll be over 3 mil, I think, attendance this year. It's crazy. It's rare. It's really rare, man. I'll even go to Yankees games where there are 10,000 empty seats. What they've got in Toronto, man, it's. Doesn't last forever. You got to win.
Well, and to give the Blue Jays credit, you go down to the ballpark. It is a very fun experience. They've done a great job of making it a place to go. If you're not a baseball fan, it really doesn't matter because there's a lot of fun bars and things to see, and the viewpoints
you
are
have
great.
to do something like that. Remember when Gosman was talking about Wrigley and like it's just different. It's all about baseball. That is not Toronto.
Not even close.
So you have to do something that appeals to the masses, that gets people in there and makes it a good time, and they've done a good job with that.
That's Frank Corrado. That's Keegan Matheson. I'm Aaron Korolnik. You're watching and listening to Overdrive. We've got Easton Cowan of the Toronto Maple Leafs joining the program in about 20 minutes. We continue here in the first hour.
back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Overdrive brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you more ways to play your game your way. Korolnik, Matheson, Corrado with you until 6 p.m. Easton Cowan in about 15 minutes. I have a new favorite tennis player. Sorry, Layla Annie Fernandez, Denis Shapovalov, Felix Auger-Aliassime, you're out. Amanda Anisimova is in because she allegedly crushes beers during matches.
No, she
at the
doesn't.
Cincinnati Open. Bring it up, fellas. Look at that. You cannot tell me that's not a brewski. That looks maybe like a Miller Lite, a Molson Canadian.
No way, man. That is a Red Bull every day of the week.
Amanda
that's Red Bull.
Anisimova taking on Alex Iala at the Cincinnati Open. And then she went on to tweet a beer emoji this afternoon. She's buying in. She's looking for new sponsors. Shout out to Anisimova.
I was on Team Red Bull, but that looks a little more like foam than bubble.
Let's
bring
roll
it up
the tape
again.
I
Bring it up again.
I
We need
want
to
go
see
from the
density
bridge.
a bit closer.
look at the bubbles at the end when it really gets zoomed
need
in.
to see
I
it
am
again.
convinced that this is Red Bull.
I feel like I'm on CSI
No.
Miami.
Okay,
Enhance.
hold on. Okay, the foam.
Enhance.
Slow
I
it
will
down.
grant you the foam makes it look like beer. Look at the bubbles at the bottom there. That's a Red Bull, man.
I also would say she's not crushing beers during a tennis match.
You know why you don't recognize that as a Red Bull? Because there's no vodka in it. If there was vodka in it, you
Listen,
would recognize
dude, if this
it.
was 2007, then yes, it's been a long time since my vodka Red Bull days, but that was the go-to drink. In university, it was just vodka Red Bull. The
Oy.
cheapest vodka I can find.
Pulling your heart in
Mixing
both
with
directions.
some,
Buddy,
that was before
vodka-
sugar-free
Vodka
Red
Red
Bulls.
Bulls, like having one of those at 2 a.m. and then
you're
you're
done.
trying to go to sleep at
Good
like
luck.
4. There's no way.
You're done.
You're getting heart palpitations.
You sure are. You
No
sure
chance.
are. Yeah. I kind of want to have a vodka Red Bull again just to commemorate the old times.
Yeah.
So we don't know. We don't think there was any vodka, but are we settling on Red Bull here?
It's a Red Bull, but pouring a Red Bull into the plastic cup's the interesting look. You know, like, did you ever get into any of those like pickle juice guys? Any of these weird things?
I saw guys that do that kind of stuff, but I was never into it. I would have like 2 coffees before a game. Didn't matter which arena we were at, too, and there was some horrible coffee in those arenas, dude. Like if you're a coffee snob, playing in the American Hockey League is not for you.
No.
It is not for you, man.
little rink coffee.
Oh, you'll have some stuff that is like pure diesel.
There's no boutique coffee shops near the rink in Wilkes-Barre, like nothing like that.
Nah, there's some rough ones. I'll never forget the pregame coffee in Bridgeport. Never
really?
in my life will I forget that. Tastes like sawdust mixed with like, I don't know, diesel gasoline.
Now, I will say, I love working here at TSN. Again, today's my 15-year anniversary, but you go walk down the hall and you have one of the coffees from that machine. Can't be much better than Bridgeport. There's no way.
Dude, I've had probably 85 of these like
Yeah.
coffees. It's not like Bridgeport.
It's
Bridgeport's way
Bridgeport-
worse.
Wow. My goodness. What were they serving?
They need
out
a
there
little
in
espresso. Like,
Bridgeport?
I consider tennis to be a bit of a bougie sport, you know?
Yes.
Get a little courtside espresso machine, you know, like that. It was confirmed the Red Bull, and it's a Red Bull in the cup.
Don't let the
But
truth get in the way of a good
I want
story.
to see a little espresso sip.
I wonder if that's a sponsorship thing. Like she can't break out the can of Red
I
Bull.
bet you it is. There we go. We've got one journalist, on
Right?
this panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
There we go.
yeah, and
There you
that's
go.
very disappointing, Frank. Could have went with the beer, but you had to burst my bubble. She's still my favorite player in Michigan.
As she should be.
Even if it is a Red Bull.
Let's introduce the non-alcoholic beers at the bench, just to carb load mid-game.
That is a very
Dude,
wise
guys are crushing mustard mid-game.
Oh.
You see that all the time. Every once in a while, there's like a Diet Coke that happens. Overtime games.
Well, what isn't Ovechkin drinking just cans of Coke on the bench?
He honestly might.
I think that's what it is. That's what
Yeah.
Dylan Strome, I think, told us
aging
at some
beautifully.
point. Yeah,
Like, imagine
Subway and
everyone's
Cokes.
water bottle is numbered. Imagine you pick up Ovi's water bottle, go to like face
a
wash.
little shower. Yeah, that's probably one of the worst ideas you could have. Ovechkin, one in a million, maybe one in
Yeah,
a
that
billion.
guy's
To put
something else.
it mildly. That's Frank Corrado. That's Keegan Matheson. I'm Aaron Korolnik. The second hour of Overdrive is on the way. It features Easton Cowan of the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's next.
chase greatness, you've got to challenge greatness. Toronto Tempo take its biggest shot yet against the team that defined a dynasty, the Las Vegas Aces. Instacart Tempo Basketball on TSN.
What do you think is going on?
These victims are going to end up being alien.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
It's hour 2 of OverDrive, Tuesday afternoon here on TSN 1050. You're watching on TSN 4, on TSN's YouTube channel, tonight on Crave. Aaron Korolnik, Keegan Matheson, and Frank Corrado. Easton Cowan coming up in about 5 minutes. Frank, you remember after your first pro season, you got some NHL money in the bank. Easton Cowan just lived that summer. I'm sure you remember exactly what it was like. I'm going to guess, what, 2011-ish?
No, drafted in 2011, but didn't make NHL debut until the 12-13 season, which was the lockout year. But I only played 3 regular season games to finish, 4 playoff games.
Okay.
So still kind of,
you had some cash, though.
Yeah, you're still the same. But I don't know. What do you do? You buy, like, a car?
What was the dumbest one early on?
No, there's no dumb nothing.
That's not how Frank operates.
I don't operate that
no,
way,
definitely
bro.
not.
So you've always been
Definitely not.
Okay, I know you're this way now.
He went out
You've
for
always
dinner
been
once.
this way.
Yeah, I think I went out for dinner and got like the most expensive steak, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, big shooter.
You let it ride at Boston
Well,
Pizza.
again, there are guys, though, that I'm sure you've played with that have spent exorbitant sums on stupid stuff.
Dude,
right?
did you just say let it ride at Boston Pizza once?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is one of the dumbest things I'll ever say on national television, but I'm going to go ahead and
We
say
love
it.
Boston Pizza.
So
here
I
on
had
OverDrive.
signed my entry level deal and obviously go back to Sudbury. And like a bunch of the guys, we had gone out, like, you know, have whatever, couple drinks, have dinner. It was probably like a $500 tab. And one of the guys, I don't know, like he saw me driving a Ford Edge and he was like, yeah, man, like he was on our team, but he didn't know I had signed. And he kept like egging me on. He's like, yeah, like rich guy over there, like he should be picking up the tab and like whatever. So I pick up the tab and he goes, dude, I had no idea you were going to do that. I was just egging you on. I'm like, it's all good, man. And that was like Boston Pizza, like a $500 tab at BP. That was,
wow.
Yeah.
That's got to be up there in the all-time rankings of BP tab.
No kidding. How did you guys get to $500?
I
what
don't
type
know,
of shift
man.
did
like
you put in back in the day?
I have no idea. Yeah, I have no
Very
idea.
reasonably priced food.
Yeah,
of the
no,
big
it was a
mugs.
good time.
Yes.
That was a mug night.
Yes. No doubt about it.
When you're that age, you buy, like back then it was like buy like a MacBook or an iPad, buy a car, and there you go. Those are your first 2 purchases.
But I'm sure you have had
Yeah, but this-
teammates that have spent stupid money.
Dude,
You've
I
seen
saw
some
guys
crazy stuff.
on like signing bonuses by Raptors, like Ford Raptors, like full paycheck gone on a signing.
Now
bonus.
it must be watches. I feel like dudes are buying like $20,000 Rolexes all the time.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's different now. Guys are making way more money too.
Baseball gets a lot of watches, chains, clothing. And there's some guys that, like, I know that might be their only 2 weeks of big league pay. And I want to take them aside, be like, man,
Young man.
don't do this. Do not walk in here wearing a different pair of shoes tomorrow with a different chain and a different set of car keys, please. But you see it happen.
Well,
fast.
again, and not to pour water on this conversation, but you hear the stories. I remember Antoine Walker. Remember him from the NBA? Made like $100-something million. He's completely broke. There was that story with a lot of NBA players from back in the day that made ungodly sums of money, and somehow they just pissed it all away.
There was a couple pieces of advice that I got from 2 guys that are awesome: Dan Hamhuis, Keith Ballard. All-time great guys, defensemen. Like, you would love to have a beer with these guys. And the 2 things were, if you're a young guy who's 20 years old, don't be the guy from Lethbridge who thinks you know the wine list at team dinner. And then the other one was, don't be the guy who drives a Ferrari but wears Aldo shoes.
Ooh.
I don't know. Like, I kind of understand what it means, but that's what they were saying.
I like that saying.
Yeah.
I think that's
don't be the
very-
guy that drives
very
a
appropriate.
Ferrari but wears Aldo shoes.
Or you could flip it around. Don't have the most expensive shoes and drive some crappy car.
I don't
right?
know.
You gotta,
Yeah,
you gotta live up to that type of expectation.
Yeah, just make it
all the time.
well-rounded. And don't pretend you know the wine list if you're just a 20-year-old
matter.
from Lethbridge.
Yeah. And I'm sure our boy Easton Cowan kept it in control. He's a good Ontario boy, right? I know he spent a lot of time.
Humble kid.
Humble kid. I know you spent time with him at the Mem Cup.
Yeah, he was
last
awesome,
year.
man. Yeah, 2 years ago, they played in the final. London Knights, Medicine Hat Tigers. It was Cowan versus McKenna in the final. Pretty cool.
And now they're
going to be teammates
on the Toronto Maple Leafs. And there is obviously a ton of hype around Gavin McKenna, and rightfully so. But I'm very curious to see what type of season that Easton Cowan is going to have.
Ask him if he likes ketchup chips.
Oh, that's where you want to start with
ask
Easton
him.
Cowan?
Let's see it.
He's a proud Canadian.
I'm getting a lot of heat for my take on ketchup chips.
All right, let's bring in Easton Cowan from the Toronto Maple Leafs here on the Maple Toyota hotline. Easton, ketchup chips, yay or nay? Go ahead.
How you guys doing? I don't mind them. They're pretty good, yeah.
Smart man. Corrado, take a hike.
All right.
It's Cowan's time. But we were talking about before you came on, of course, you made some good NHL money over the course of the last season. Any big expenditures, anything you buy that you're looking to, share with the national TV audience here on TSN?
Nothing too crazy. I'm just a big dinner guy. Love going out for dinners with a lot of people. So I love spending my money that way.
Okay, do you pretend that you know the wine list, or do you let someone else handle that?
No. I know nothing about it. So I'm usually just a water with lemon and a ginger ale type of guy. So depends on the day.
Wow, this guy is a veteran.
TV. I love
he's
that.
a veteran. He's
they
a young
taught him
man,
well.
but he knows exactly what he's talking about. Go ahead, Keegan.
Easton, we were talking before you came on here about going back in the 25 Mem Cup finals. You going up against Gavin McKenna. Tell us some stories about that, man. Leading up to it, there was probably a bunch of buzz that maybe drove you nuts at the time. But what do you remember from that matchup and all the attention that would have been on this for you guys who are now teammates?
I mean, yeah, obviously they beat us in the round robin there. So it was a very highly anticipated game. Medicine was a great team, and we were too. So I remember waking up that morning just, super excited to get on the ice. It was a long wait till game time, but super happy we brought it home, especially losing the year before. But obviously they had a great team, and it was super fun playing Gavin, and super excited to play with him here this year.
So, Easton, you just finished your first NHL season, and I feel like there's so many learning moments throughout the course of an NHL season. What was the biggest thing that jumped off the page for you after, kind of reflecting on your first year in the league?
Yeah, obviously a super tough league. So I think, to me, just puck battles. I mean, if you can win puck battles all over the ice, you'll give yourself chances and your team chances. So that's definitely something I focus on this summer, and looking to get better at that for sure.
Easton Cowan with us from the Toronto Maple Leafs, also a Calder Cup champion as well with the Toronto Marlies. And going through your Instagram, okay, that sounded kind of weird as a 38-year-old man. But in any case, the summer of Modelo was the caption that you posted with you and the squad. I mean, take us through the celebrations that you had and just what that was like and how you think that could affect and positively affect your progress heading into the season.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I mean, those guys were unbelievable. They treated me super well the first day I got there, and I knew right away they had a championship team. So I'm super glad I got to join them and go on that run with them, and super glad we got to win that championship for Toronto. And just a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of good celebrations and moments I'll never forget.
Easton, coming into this season, you're still a young player, still some development ahead of you, which is exciting. What part of your game has you excited right now, where you think you're going to take that next jump into a bigger role?
Yeah, I'd like to think of myself as a versatile player. So playing anywhere in the lineup will help you out a lot. But definitely my speed. Feel like I've gotten faster. Done a lot of power skating with my power skating coach, Kathy. She's been great all summer. So just looking to take the extra step that way will help me out a lot.
How excited were you, Easton, to go and be a part of the Marlies and go on that playoff run and maybe play a more prominent role? Like, how the first year in the league goes in the NHL, little bit of survival, but you get to take on more of a role with the Marlies. How important was that for you to do that?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, obviously they have a lot of great players, a lot of guys that can see the ice. So I played with a lot of good players, and just extra games helped me out a lot. And, playing with pressure late in the playoffs, grinding through that, maintaining your, strength and making sure your body feels well. It's a big learning curve for me for sure, and super glad I had the opportunity to do that, and so proud to be a part of that group and to be able to win that Calder Cup.
So, since the Toronto Maple Leafs season concluded, there have been like a million changes. New coach, new general manager, Matt Sundin, a bunch of new players as well. What have some of the conversations that you've had been like with management, with coaching heading into the season?
Yeah, it's been good. I'm super excited to get back to Toronto, heading back in a couple weeks, start training there early. It's going to be great. Love the additions we have and just super excited to meet everyone. And it should be good. And I think all of us are pumped to get going and start rolling.
How much chatter has there been between the group this summer? Obviously, it wasn't a great season for the Maple Leafs, but a lot of changes. Like, does it feel like there's some unfinished business, like a little bit of a different mindset and mentality this year?
Yeah, like I said, I think we're just all ready to get going. Obviously, a long summer, and we're just ready to get playing. And there's a buzz around Toronto. Everyone's excited. We got a good team here, and we're looking to prove it.
So the Toronto Blue Jays did this thing down at the ballpark to determine the fantasy football draft order for their upcoming season. I imagine the Leafs. Like, are you a fantasy football guy, Easton?
I've never played, but I finally got the invite this year, so I'm excited.
See, that's what we were debating. All right, so so who's the commissioner? Like, how does that all work?
I don't know for sure, honestly. I don't know the whole deal about it. Just Domes gave me a text earlier this week, so I was pretty fired up.
All right, maybe Max Domi's the commissioner. That would make sense.
AK was asking, he's like, is it just a blanket invite that you're on?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not, man, because I remember when I was playing there was like a group of 8 guys maybe. Couple guys were on other teams, but I don't know. You had to start your own league if you wanted to be involved in it. It wasn't just everyone involved.
Well, again, you were down there at the ballpark. Like, the Jays take their fantasy football league very seriously.
Extremely seriously. Yeah, I think their buy-in is a little heavier than me and my buddies.
Do you know what that is, Easton?
See what that is, Easton.
You know what the buy-in is?
No idea. Yeah. Hopefully low.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys are making a lot of cash in the NHL. Yeah, it's like, by the way, you're in the league. Don't worry about what the buy-in is. We'll tell you what it is at the end of the season, regardless of how it goes.
Easton, I heard there was a certain strength coach down with the Marlies that used to be your neighbor in the two-touch game and used to sewer him every chance you get. You remember that?
Renzo? Yeah. We were neighbors there for a while, and we're all good now, but there was some beef for sure.
Okay, the two-touch game gets way too heated.
I can see that.
Way too heated.
No doubt about it. Well, listen, we're fired up for the Maple Leaf season as well, and I know you definitely are. Best of luck this year, and we'll see you in Toronto in a couple weeks.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
All right, Easton Cowan of the Toronto Maple Leafs joining us on the Maple Toyota Hotline. It's time to Toyota. Check out the Toyota Tacoma, Toyota Tundra pickup trucks, both available as hybrids. Maple Toyota near Canada's Wonderland in the Maple Auto Mall. Gavin McKenna has chewed up a lot of the airtime here on the station about, of course, the #1 overall pick. But Cowan is a guy I'm really curious to see what type of progress. Again, this guy, absolute machine in the O. Played quite well as a 20-year-old in the Calder Cup playoffs. Do I think he's going to have the same opportunity, the same type of season as Gavin McKenna? I'm uncertain, but I do think there's definitely a lot of potential that Easton Cowan could outperform maybe what we expect from him this year.
Dude, there's a lot going for Easton Cowan. Okay, he's a really competitive kid. He works hard. He just went on that run with the Marlies. He understands winning. Like, he won with the London Knights. He won with the Marlies. This is kind of like part of his DNA. And last year, there were so many times where you watched the Leafs and you thought, man, they're slow. They don't do anything that dazzles you. But every once in a while, you'd see a clip or a flash from Cowan, and you're like, why does that guy only play 12 minutes a night? Or why is he playing 10 minutes a night? He should be playing more. This was essentially a lost season, even though, they ended up getting Gavin McKenna out of it. So it's not a lost season. It was at the time. But, given what he went through last year, I think this sets up really nicely for him to be like a middle six guy who works hard, who hounds pucks. He talked about winning puck battles. Like, he's very much identified what's going to help him this season, and he's got the skill to go with it. Like, there's a lot going his way right now.
This gets exciting 2 or 3 years down the road, too. Like, when you start to look at a lineup that has a little bit more speed in it, when you get. I mean, shout out to power skating coach Kathy.
It's right.
Who I think is taking the game to a new level. We got to
Let's
get her
go.
on next, I think. But looking a couple years down the road, the power play potential that Easton Cowan has too, man, with that, like, you need that upside. And alongside Gavin McKenna, you can start to dream on what this looks like beyond McKenna's rookie season. But once he's settled in and you have Cowan maturing alongside him.
I wouldn't be surprised if this year, like when Jim Hiller was the assistant coach of the Leafs, we had two kind of even power play units. He didn't load up one unit. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like that this season. The power play was a mess last year. You have a lot more skill this year. Like, think about how you could, I don't think it's always the best way to go about things, but if you try and load up one power play unit, you run out of guys. Like, you run out of room. Like, you have a lot of guys. You run out of room.
I do think the Leafs power play is really interesting this year. And again, the top unit, Darren Radish is playing on the top unit, Austin Matthews is playing on the top unit, and William Nylander is playing on the top unit, right? I think we can all agree those three guys are locked.
Sure.
Beyond that, I mean, Matthew Nyes, John Tavares, Gavin McKenna, and again, depending on the rules that Jim Hiller and Daniel Alfredson lay out, who's expected to run the power play, how that looks. I mean, do you think, like, who do you think's the odd man out of McKenna, Tavares, and Nyes on PP1, assuming they go that way?
This is where I find it fascinating, because 2 years ago, when the Leafs power play wasn't very good, they went 5 forwards, and Matthew Nyes being around the front of the net saved their power play. It completely changed their power play. So to say this year we're going to have Radish because he's a defenseman, and we're not going to have Matthew Nyes there, like, I kind of think that could be a mistake.
How much can they really jerk around Matthew Nyes? Like, all summer long, it was, is this guy getting traded? Maybe not.
And I get it.
By the way, you're off the power play.
John Tavares is really good around the front of the net. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, like, that's a guy that needs to be there. So I would have Matthew Nyes on my top unit.
Is Matthew Nyes just the most overthought athlete in this city? I mean, like, every time we're talking about Matthew Nyes, I feel like we're talking about moving him off of something, or will he be included in a trade?
Yeah, you're right.
And for me, who does not live as deep into the world of the Leafs, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, isn't this the dude?
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's in his early 20s,
I
signed
want
to a
him
reasonable deal.
Parked in front of the net.
And I think that is ultimately the most likely outcome. And the Maple Leafs made a bunch of moves in the offseason. Easton was talking about it. Roslovic, part of the mix. McKenna's part of the mix. Dakota Joshua's still here. They bring in Nick Paul, Colton Sissons, Brandon Duhaime. Like, there's a lot of new names that are going to be part of the mix for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's just a matter of how it all shakes out. And I guess the big difference this year as opposed to past years is how the preseason works, right? You have half the number of games, the split squads. Like, it's not like you have this litany of opportunities to establish yourself.
Really, it's 2 games.
Yeah, well, that's it. And if you're Easton Cowan, I think he would be a prime candidate to potentially have a big preseason and maybe move himself up in the lot, maybe into the top 6.
Yeah.
That's going to be a little bit more challenging for him.
The other thing is 84-game season. We know how the ebbs and flows go, right? Like, there's times where guys are really sleepwalking through it, and we see it. Like, we watch it happen. It's just the reality of the 82-game schedule. Now we have 84, but, like, the one thing that I think could be coming down is, like, Gavin McKenna could prove to be too important to not be on the top unit, like, pretty soon into the season. But that's not something that you're going to iron out in training camp. Like, you're going to have to get into the season and see how it goes. First of all, you're going to have to see how the first power play unit looks. Then you're going to have to see how he looks. And it's honestly, it might be a way to get him more ice time at the end of the day. Like, to get him into a 13-minute, 14-minute range to get him out there more.
Well, I think this is a perfect way to get into the TSN 1050 Sports Fan Survey, day number 2. And today's question on TSN 1050's Instagram, TSN 1050 Radio on Twitter, which Toronto athlete means the most to its team's success? And I think you look at, like, basketball, right? One player can affect a team so much more than any other sport. Maybe a quarterback in CFL, Chad Kelly, or certainly in the NFL. But if we look at the Toronto Maple Leafs, like, is Sergei Bobrovsky the answer to that question simply because he's that prized free agent acquisition in goal?
I don't personally think so. I think that's you can make a very compelling case. Like, if Bobrovsky is hurt at some point this year, is there a world where Stolars and Akhtiamov can give you some quality minutes?
Fair.
Even though you're asking a lot out of Stolars, who's never played 40 games in a season. But I'm like, Akhtiamov was really good with the Marlies. They won a championship. He was the playoff MVP. Why can't he turn that into an NHL stint that works?
You could survive.
Yeah.
Short term, you could survive. Like, where's the floor, like, when you lose these big stars? Like, if you're replacing Austin Matthews for a month, if you're replacing Vladdy for a month. I think that's done easily. If you're replacing Kawhi Leonard for a month, where's the floor? Like, I think you can survive without Bobrovsky and get by okay. But who is the most indispensable one? The one that you cannot live without?
I mean, if you get the same Austin Matthews, where there's a bad injury and then he's like a 20-something goal scorer, how good can the team be? I think that one's harder to overcome.
Well, a couple years ago, he
happened.
scored in the low 30s, and they did win the division.
They did. Yeah, it's a different team, though.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
You had
a much better
Marner,
team.
you had a
And
much
the
better
goaltending
team.
was
lights
incredible.
out. That team, that year was about power play turnaround, goaltending. Like, that was totally different.
Yeah, no, that's it. But I do think ultimately the answer is Kawhi Leonard, although he's not actually a Toronto Raptor right now. And Lord knows,
tomorrow.
I mean, who knows?
January.
Trying to parse through all the legalese and ESPN reporting and NBA statements.
I love that.
I don't know.
NBA found that there was nothing wrong.
I don't know, man.
Or was it the NBA? Did they do their own investigation?
Well, no, it was the Walktel Lipton group that
they paid the
they
people
hired. 11 months of work. No, they're all good.
Yeah.
They're all good. They're all good.
We're all good in here. You guys, we're all good. Trust us.
No, but again, I think the Matthews thing is really fascinating. And I was talking on my show with Cameron Gauntz last week about the TSN top 50 list when it comes to projecting ahead to the upcoming season and where Austin Matthews would fall on that list. Do you think he's a lock to be inside the top 20?
Lock. I think he's around there. Like, I think he's somewhere in that like 17 to 25 area. That's where I would see him. He's not a top 10 player. You're not projecting him to be a top 10 player.
He can jump back to that.
He
would have to have a good
He's
year.
got the upside to do that. But again, we're talking about 2 years now where it's been obviously of high quality. He's been a great player, but
who would you have ahead of? Would you have Sidney Crosby ahead of Austin Matthews right now if you were doing that list today? I think I would.
One man.
Sidney Crosby's a point per game player.
Yeah, and
every
his
single
floor
year.
is very high, Crosby.
Yeah.
But I don't think his ceiling is even remotely close to what Austin Matthews could be.
Okay, if we go through centermen, you're going to have McDavid, Celebrini, McKinnon, Draisaitl, Barkov, Suzuki.
It's close.
I would have
that's
Suzuki
the range.
ahead of
Again,
Austin
Suzuki just had
Matthews.
100 points.
Right? And then you're talking
Scheifele just had 100 points.
Yeah. And Scheifele's had like a few good years in a row. Then you're talking like Crosby, Eichel, Jack Hughes, Austin Matthews,
lot of good centers.
Wyatt Johnston. Like,
Johnson just scored 45 goals.
right. That's a tough year for Austin.
Well,
It's been a tough couple years individually.
That's it. He's coming
for him.
off a serious knee injury, and I think we're just expecting him to come back. He's got a new coach, and Craig Berube was there, and he was holding him back with the zone starts, and Austin Matthews is healthy now, and he's going to be ready to rock, and he's going to score 45, 50 goals again. Maybe. It could happen, and I think that's why he will be high on a lot of people's lists, simply because of the upside, the potential that he has demonstrated in years past that probably some of his contemporaries don't have.
I don't know about Crosby, though. It pains me to rank the good
or anybody
Nova Scotian behind Austin Matthews. But, I mean, we're chasing ceiling here. I mean, Austin Matthews can still play 78 games, only miss a few, and score 45, I think, easily. Crosby will be your reliable 75, 80 points along the way, but pains me.
It's also like the thing about this list we have to keep in mind is it's a projection.
Yes.
So you could say, I am projecting, Austin Matthews to be better than whoever, right? You can always hide behind that a little bit.
That's exactly it. That's what we will do when that list comes out in a couple of months. I'm Aaron Korolnik. That's Keegan Matheson. That's Frank Corrado. We have confirm or deny still to come, plus my FanDuel best bets as we continue here in hour 2 of OverDrive.
What do you think is going on?
These victims are going to end up being aliens.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
I can neither confirm or deny that this is in fact a segment.
Boston trades Andrew Raycroft to Toronto in exchange for the rights to Tuukka Rask.
It's been my honor and a privilege to serve as the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey Club.
It's time for Confirm or Deny.
Do you regret giving all those gentlemen the no trades or no movement clauses?
I can neither confirm or deny that.
I can't confirm or deny.
A true honor hosting Confirm or Deny, which is brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP, where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. I like to really emote when I do reads for our favorite sponsors, Keegan.
How many $15 lunches can you fit on a $500 BP?
That's what Frank
That's a good
needs.
question,
That's what Frank
man.
needs to ask from many years ago.
The 2011 Sudbury Wolves.
A dozen lunches?
That's why you're the captain of that team, Frank, right there. Captain of Boston Pizza.
Terrible leadership.
That's great leadership.
Terrible leadership.
All right, so everyone knows how this works. Statements are made, and you either need to confirm them or deny them. Are you gentlemen ready?
Ready to go,
Sure.
but you know, Doogie was talking about a spin-off of this segment.
Which is?
It was like an Overdrive Reddit where you give the take and you upvote it or downvote
That's
it.
very wise.
Doogie's
Very
working
wise.
on it.
Listen, I think Overdrive Reddit's a big fan of this trio today. That's my hunch.
Doogie's working on it.
I think so. Doogie has a lot of things in the holster, no doubt. All right, Keegan, confirm or deny the Blue Jays will go at least 3-3 this week against Tampa and New York.
Ooh, deny. And let's make this another clip that we scrub of me after the week. Going into Tampa, I really can't overstate how difficult a series that is. If they can pull this off, impressive as hell. But this is a real tough one, and then the Yankees back home after getting beat, Yankee Stadium. I think that's tough. I would lean more towards the 2-4.
I want to say deny, but I'm going to say confirm because nothing really makes sense at this point with the Jays season. They were never supposed to be this bad. Vladdy was not supposed to go 365 days without hitting a home run at the Sky Dome, but this is the reality of what's happened this year. They've been historically horrible at the Trop. Can they go down there and win a game or two? I mean, stranger things have happened, so why can't they do that and then saw it off in a series against the Yankees? It feels like things are averaging out for the Jays. And at 3-3, I feel like that's just about average. So I'm going to confirm that.
So I, too, will confirm it. I think they will go 3-3. I think they take one of the Trop, take 2 or 3 from the Yanks. The Yankees, Keegan, are brutal right now. They don't have anyone. Their lineup might be worse than Toronto's. And that's saying a lot. I mean, you're talking about, Spencer Jones and Ramos and Lombard.
Especially without Jazz Chisholm doing much.
Like, there's nothing there for the Yankees. Their lineup is a debacle at the moment. And yes, I get it. Schlittler and Cole and Weathers, they've got some good arms. Their bullpen, I think, is worse than the Jays, too. I think the Jays take 2 or 3 from the Yanks. Look at the beacon of positivity.
Look at
over
you.
here
That's crazy
for the
to
Toronto
see.
Blue Jays. All right, Frank, our boy, Easton Cowan, friend of the show, will score at least 20 goals this season for the Leafs.
Oh, I'm going to deny it, but that doesn't mean it's a bad season for Easton Cowan. I just think it's gotten really crowded in a hurry in that lineup. And the area in that lineup where I see him succeeding is like middle six. So let's call it third line. And you're going to play a puck hounding style of game. And you're going to play with like Dakota Joshua and Teddy Bluger. And you're going to be the skill player on that line. They're going to drag you into the fight. And you might have 40 points, but it might not be 20 goals. It could be like 18. But I think that's still a good season for Easton Cowan, and it's an improvement on last season.
It's a good line. I want to confirm like 20 right in the nails, at this point, because if his time on ice is up from like 14-ish minutes last year, if you can get that up to 16, a little more power play time mixed in there. And there's some goals to go around, man. Last year, McCann was close to 20. Robertson was 16. Like, a little bump up here, and with power skating coach Kathy.
That's right, Kathy, the secret weapon.
I believe.
Yes, I had to go see how many goals did Michelli score last year for the Leafs. The answer was 14. And again, remember, it's an 84-game season, Frank, so he's got 2 more opportunities. I'm going to confirm it.
Yeah.
I like some positivities. I used to cover the London Knights when I was at Western. I was covering, the old Michael Delzato, John Carlson, London
Good
Knight
teams
team.
back
Great
then.
teams
Kadri
back
was
in the,
on that
Nazem
team.
Kadri,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I like to support the London Knights boys as much as I can. I think Easton Cowan will have a big year for the Leafs. Confirm or deny, Mr. Matheson, the Dallas Cowboys, led by Von Miller. Okay, that might be a stretch. Will make the playoffs this season.
I'll confirm that because I believe in the offense too much. Like I think that CeeDee Lamb is weirdly underrated, and if he's healthy all this year where he's not dealing with an injury, George Pickens will be great. I like their tight ends. I love Dak Prescott. Javonte Williams is not sexy, but he's good. Like, they're going to score 1 billion points, and I'm going to trust the defense to be at least just below average, not god-awful, and sneak in at like 9-8.
Are you a Cowboys fan?
God, no. I'm a Packers fan. I have taste.
Okay. You just never know. There's so many Cowboys fans
There are
crawling around
so
this
many
place. It's
Cowboys
crazy.
fans around here.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
I'm going to confirm it as well because their defense was so atrocious last year. I don't think they could be that bad again. And the offense is really good. And to Keegan's point, like if they are even just around average, hovering around average, they're a really difficult team to beat. They're going to be able to put up points a number of different ways. They just have to be not horrible defensively. And it's just, they will be improved. There's just no way around it.
I'm going to deny it. I know I'm going to get a text from Pierre LeBrun. I hope I do, actually. That would be awesome. Maybe an invite up to his cottage. That would
You get a lot of texts. You get Pierre, Sheeler, Mark
Rowe will
Laura
text
Dykin.
me. Yes. I am going to deny it. And again, I look at who made the playoffs last year in the NFC. I don't really see who they're kicking out. Last year, of course, 3 teams from the West made it, San Fran and Seattle. And who am I missing? In the LA Rams. So could that happen again? I think so. I think all 3 of those teams will be back in. Carolina, do they make it in that crappy division? Remains to be seen. I love Chicago this year. I like Green Bay.
You like Chicago?
I
No one
love
likes
Chicago. I am a big Chicago
That's the
guy.
number one team that I see that's like people are
Everybody's
saying it's
talking
take a big
about the
step
regression.
back.
The defense isn't good, but I think that offense is going to be spectacular.
Wow.
Maybe the best offense.
First time I've heard
in the
that
National Football League.
So happy that I have Caleb Williams in my life now because it connects me with that fan when I was a kid who hated people. Like, not just dislike someone. Like, I keep football as this special place in my life where I'm only a fan. It's not work. And God, do I hate him. Watching that, I'm trying to watch my mouth right now and not let the East Coast come out of me. But watching that football player do that to the Packers in the playoffs last year hurt me. And watching him kind of do that spin and roll out of the pocket and run forever and rip a fastball that he does over and over, he is unfortunately so talented.
He is.
And I love Colston Loveland and the receiver. Like, I'm worried that they are going to annoy me for a lot.
They are nasty, man. That defense is a disaster. They have nobody. They've had a bunch of injuries already. They're already bad last year.
Well in the NFL. Like if you have a
zero
terrible
pass
defense.
rush. I think they're going to have to win a lot of games 38-35. Good thing for them. They absolutely can and will.
If you're a Packers fan, like I am not afraid of the Vikings. I'm not afraid of the Bears, even though there's that offense, and the Lions are going to be much better this year.
I think the Vikings could be sneaky. I do.
With Kyler Murray.
With Kyler Murray playing for like $30.
I can't see that.
And they've got Jefferson.
He's going to get hurt at some point.
And Addison and Juwan Jennings coming over.
But the Vikings are always that. They always have a few like sick targets that you could hit, but it never comes together for like a long stretch.
That's fair.
I don't know.
Excellent analysis there, Frank. Could be an NFL analyst. Look out, Jesse Palmer and Luke Wilson. Frank Corrado is coming for you. All right, confirm or deny. Frank, we'll go to you first. All of Connor Hellebuck, Dylan Larkin, and Morgan Riley will remain on their current teams for the entirety of the upcoming NHL season.
I'll deny it. I mean, these are all guys that, you think want to be or could be on the move. And it depends. Like if 2 or 3 of these teams have terrible starts to the season, then someone's going to have to move. Like you're going to have to recoup assets and say, we got to move this thing in a different direction. I mean, Morgan Riley's been talked about getting traded since June, even before June. There was a list of teams. It never happened. I feel like all 3 of these guys will start the season with their teams. Do they stay there for the entirety of it? That remains to be seen. I would say at least one doesn't finish the year with their team.
I'd agree with that. Deny for now. 2 months ago, I would have said confirm, but so many teams have done their business at this point. Like Morgan Riley, I feel like we've talked about a lot. Dylan Larkin, I'm probably most interested in, just as a fan, to see what happens there. But give it a few months. I just think too many teams have their business done.
Yeah, I am going to confirm it, and here's why. I mean, is Riley going to accept a trade? All these guys, of course, are no trade clause guys because every good player in the NHL for the most part is. Dylan Larkin, we know there's 4 teams he wants to go to. None of those teams made offers commensurate with what the Detroit Red Wings were looking for. I think he stays there in Detroit. I think Winnipeg's kind of a sneaky bounce-back candidate, although their depth down the middle.
They need a centerman.
They have no center.
The kid they drafted,
he's going to be the number 2 center.
Vigo Bjork.
Yeah.
He's going to get a good look to start the season there.
Well, last year it was Jonathan Taves was their guy that they thought was going to be.
They'll give him a look.
2 center. They're going to have.
They should, anyways. They should.
I don't think they had. That's a sneaky Calder Trophy candidate, Vigo Bjork.
Yeah,
boys with Stenberg on the Swedish World Hockey Championship team. So
the Larkin thing's weird because the Red Wings, like Steve Yzerman's not the GM anymore, so they don't have a GM. As of now, their captain has requested a trade. They haven't signed one of their stud defensemen in Simon Edvinsson. It doesn't sound like talks have gone anywhere. The season's starting in a month.
Yeah, that's peculiar.
A lot of stuff to do.
It's not very often your head of hockey operations job is vacant on August the 18th, and you have some major decisions that your franchise is facing. I know they've been interviewing people. I think the guy from the Detroit Tigers, I believe his last name's Greenberg, is apparently
right.
I saw out of Detroit. They're talking to him. I don't know how that'll go. But again, better hurry it up, Detroit. You better figure something out.
Do you remember the first year Jared Bednar was the head coach of the Colorado Avalanche? He took over, I believe, in August. History would tell us they bounced back and they won a Stanley Cup. But the point of it is, if you got major housekeeping going on in August in your organization, you are very much working from behind. It is going to be a lot of work for them.
And Detroit, notorious for just collapsing in the second half of seasons the last few years, and last year was no different. So you're kind of setting the stage for maybe an early season struggle if there's that many question marks for this team and this organization before the season even begins. All right, continuing confirm or deny. Roger Goodell speaking to a German media outlet earlier today and saying that it was inevitable that the NFL will expand outside of the United States. Now, he did not give a timeline, so I'm going to do so on confirm or deny. The NFL will expand outside of the USA within the next 10 years. Confirm or deny. So what's that? 2036. There'll be a franchise outside. Yeah, listen. Thornley Secondary School Education for you. Bang. So 2036, there'll be an NFL team outside of the United States.
Confirm. Money. I think that there will be 2 teams added, maybe over the next 10 years. But when you look at, do you do the London thing? Has that actually set down roots?
How does that work?
I don't know.
With bye weeks, the travel,
I don't like it. That's why I like Mexico City has a population of 10 million people. Is that more likely? Is Toronto on the map? I have such fond memories of Bills in Toronto.
The best.
I remember I went to the Seahawks Bills game here, and it was not a full stadium, let's say. And the halftime show was Psy, that singer that sang Gangnam Style. He walked out with a dancer on either arm, performed only that song, and walked off the stage.
And probably got 800 grand.
To this moment, it's one of the better moments of my life. Toronto, oh God, wouldn't that be cool? But Mexico City, you look at other U.S. markets, but I just think that there's too much money to be made. And if you don't screw with time zones too much, it doesn't cause as much of a problem.
I'm going to deny it because one thing about NFL owners is they all have money. They want people that have money around them, but it is a club, man, and they're picky. And so if you think you're just going to show up with bags of cash and say, I'm going to put a team in London or I'm going to put a team in Toronto or Munich or wherever, it's like, it doesn't work that way. You got to walk their walk, you got to talk their talk, and you got to kind of be one of them. And if that doesn't transpire, then there's no team going anywhere. I think they're very selective. It's a very exclusive club.
I'm going to deny it, and again, I just think it's a logistical thing. How would you have a team in London or in Munich or in Berlin or in Mexico City? Although Mexico City is a lot more palatable from a travel perspective than the other cities that I mentioned before, and that's just the only holdup I have is the logistical concerns, trying to figure out how the schedule would work if you're talking about a team based in London. Again, you're getting drafted, all of a sudden you got to move to London, England? Is that a reasonable thing?
I just don't see it.
Me neither.
Yeah. You're already grinding up these human beings enough.
That's it. And listen, maybe in 25 years when Elon Musk finds out how to travel over to Europe in 20 minutes, then it makes sense. But for now, I don't really see how it's
Also,
all
like,
that
I wonder how currency plays into it. Like, everything's in U.S. dollars right now. I doubt they want to be using Canadian dollars and.
Oh, you don't think they want to use Canadian dollars, Frank?
Yeah. Well, thank you.
I don't think they
Have
do.
you tried to exchange money recently?
It's not enjoyable.
It's quite bad.
Yes, it really is. Good luck in New York, Keegan, this weekend. Have a fun time.
Yeah.
Okay, last one, confirm or deny. The Florida Panthers. By the way, Brad Marchand coming out and saying he had off-season surgery. Might not be ready for the season, huh? All right.
You see him chirping Nylander on Instagram?
I sure did. All right, so let's get to this confirm or deny. The Florida Panthers will not finish inside the top 2 in the Atlantic Division.
That's a deny. They're going to be in top 2 in the Atlantic Division.
Oh.
They are a really good team. I guess if you wanted to have a question mark, you would say,
Goalies?
okay, yeah, Markstrom, like saying that Markstrom is the upgrade over Bobrovsky, but like Markstrom's a good goalie. Marchand's hurt.
That's your boy, Markstrom.
That is my boy. Marky's my boy. Marchand is one injury that could be of a few because it is an aging team. But it's also a team that is ripe to win right now. So you could look at it that way. If everyone is there and playing games, I can't see how they are not top 2 in that division.
Yeah, deny. They're healthy-ish for now outside of Marchand, and there's the revenge comeback season to it. You can tell yourself the lies that everyone doubted them and counted them out, blah, blah, blah. I think easy deny for me.
No one counted them out.
I'm confirming
That's
it,
the
by
crazy
way.
thing.
No, of course.
Right? No one's counting out the Panthers.
They had so many injuries last year that they dealt with.
Exactly.
Again, Barkov is coming back, and by all accounts, he's ready to rock. And that's a terrifying proposition. I know with the Worlds, he was just dominating that tournament. And that's got to be a very scary proposition for the rest of the Atlantic Division. I'm still denying it. I got to see it. I got to see it again from Florida. Again, there's a lot of new faces there. See how Brady Tkachuk assimilates himself. The goaltending is a major concern. They're a year older.
That's the
I don't
thing.
think you just snap your fingers. I think they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But
age,
top 2, we'll see.
Age and potential for injury, I think, is the number one concern for the Panthers. 84-game season, but man, the runs that they went on, they were remarkably healthy. Last year, it all fell off. Like, think about Brady Tkachuk on that team. He might be a third liner on that team. Like, on paper, that's how good they are right now. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, their top 9, when fully healthy, is about as nasty as we have seen on paper in the salary cap era in the National.
Now, can they keep it on the ice? That's the big question.
And again, a lot of these guys are getting up there. Have dealt with a lot of injuries. Again, we'll have to see how they all come back from them. But I think it's safe to say Florida's going to be a very potent team this coming season. All right. That was confirm or deny for today. Very, very high quality one in my estimation. I have my FanDuel best bets still to come as we continue here on OverDrive.
TSN, Canada sports leader. Subscribe now.
Red Blacks, Alouettes, Thursday on TSN.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, it's time now for today's best bets. They are powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. This is basically like your Super Bowl tonight, Keegan.
Bang.
The Toronto Tempo and the Indiana Fever at Scotiabank Arena. And I'm going to defer to you because we were talking during the break about a parlay. Of course, you can watch the game on TSN. You're a big fan of Aaliyah Boston tonight for Indiana. You think she could have a big evening?
Well, I am, because Aaliyah Boston is criminally underrated because she is in the shadow of Caitlin Clark all the time. But the Tempo are not strong at the rim right now, and that's part of how they're going to have to build out this roster. And they can get knocked around at the rim quite a bit when there is some power down the paint. So I think that Aaliyah Boston in her game fits the rebound line. If you're interested in that, I don't know the scoring line, but
I am interested in that.
Rebounds, the Tempo on this recent losing streak have had some tough ones against opposing centers, opposing forwards on the rebounds.
Wonder if I could become like the Tempo betting guy. You think that is a role that is vacant to TSN? I think I should.
You got to call up your people at FanDuel.
I'm going to dip my toes in those waters. So here's how we're playing it. Indiana Fever minus 10.5 tonight. Aaliyah Boston 20+. Aaliyah Boston 8+ rebounds.
All right.
5-1 on FanDuel. I love it. Today's best bets are powered by FanDuel. Same game parlays are available for every MLB game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. 18+. Physically located in Ontario. I do wonder about the crowd tonight at Scotiabank Arena. The Tempo were horrible. They've lost 11 straight games. And frankly, it's best for them to lose out so they get the highest draft pick possible. Yep. And then you got Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, our girl Aaliyah Boston as well. Like, who do you think people are going to be cheering for in this?
Well, they'll be cheering for the Tempo, but it's like any time a big-time player comes to play the Raptors, whether it's like Steph Curry or LeBron, like there's always going to be cheers for that because that's where a lot of the fandom lies in individuals, but also allegiance with the team. Like, I think both can happen at the same time. We see it happen with the Raptors all the time. I don't think this is anything different.
Yeah, I guess there'll be, of course, a lot of Marina Mabry jerseys down there, but there'll be a lot of Caitlin Clark jerseys down there, too.
Does she have Wi-Fi yet?
Yeah, that's a great question. Listen, she's got a horrible provider. And it's not Bell. Let's put it that way.
I do wonder if she's using like 5G on her phone or if she's just strictly tied to Wi-Fi. Because did you see there was who was on a podcast saying that LeBron, every time they came into Toronto, Kevin Love said every time LeBron came into Toronto, put his phone on airplane mode because he didn't want to spend money on what's it called? Roaming?
Yeah.
On roaming? Are you kidding
Like, I know
me?
you did the same thing when you played in the NHL.
No, man.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Are you kidding?
But the LeBron thing, LeBron's worth $1 billion.
Yeah. That hits me like all the times you see LeBron performatively reading a book that's on the first page.
Of course.
Like,
I love The Godfather. Oh, what's your favorite character?
The Godfather himself.
Yeah. It's like, oh, yeah. No, for sure. Very performative.
That can't, like,
I don't buy that story from Kevin Love. I
Why
think
would
he's
he make that
he's
up?
just chirping his boy. Like, oh, LeBron's so cheap. He's got $1 billion. He won't even turn on his Wi-Fi.
So you think, like, he gets a text from LeBron, like, hey, man, that was kind of funny. Like, thanks for messing with me.
Well,
like,
LeBron's got a YouTube golf channel now. I don't know if you guys have checked that out.
Who doesn't?
Yes. I mean, pretty much everybody's got a YouTube
This is the hottest thing right
podcast
now is you make a YouTube golf channel, and if you got some money, you can buy out a course for the day and film it, and it does big numbers, man.
I watched you with Luca the Caddy on his YouTube channel.
Golf people are nuts.
I know.
And all they want to do is watch golf on YouTube.
And that's pretty much what I do.
That's what you do all day when you're at home.
I love YouTube golf. I watch anything and everything, and my thirst is insatiable for the YouTube golf content. It's the best. It's the absolute
I don't
best.
have that brain disease yet. I'm sure it'll get me. But,
We should pitch a TSN summer golf series.
Man, that used to be a thing. Bob Weeks hosted something called like Score Golf TV, where it was two NHLers go toe-to-toe at random golf courses around the GTA, and it was incredible content. There is one with the O-Dog versus Wendell Clark at King's Riding that you got to check out.
I got to watch this.
It's great. The O-Dog put on a clinic.
Oh,
you look great. But
He's a great golfer.
Wendell can swing. He's a powerful dude.
But, dude, you could do that like every couple of weeks. You get Bob Weeks with a member of TSN talent.
Against a hockey player in the GTA.
Or
I
even
love
just like
watching
you got to set a line.
We got a lot of great ideas today.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's all the time.
That's it. We're over. That's it.
Thanks to everyone behind the glass. Fellas, thank you for celebrating my 15-year anniversary.
Congrats, buddy.
Wow, what a day.
OverDrive. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m.
We'll chat.
champion. But we are not done. 12 is 1, okay? It's a relentless attitude.
This locker room is unlike any locker room I've ever been a part of.
We got to get this on camera right here.
Let's do what we do, baby. Let's spin. Let's go.
Sports Center begins with one of the biggest ever Premier League signings for a Canadian international. Promise David is headed to Brighton. Kevin Kilbane joins us soon to break it down and tell us what it means for the Canadian national team. Plus, Caitlin Clark is in Toronto. The Fever superstar will play her first ever game in Canada tonight. The Tempo hosts the Fever right here on TSN. Come on in. Welcome to Sports Center. Jermaine Franklin here with you. Caitlin Clark mania has come north of the border. It's Clark's first regular season game in Toronto. The Indiana Fever and Clark will be taking on a Tempo squad that should be getting a much-needed boost from the return of guard Brittany